Hello guys, welcome. And today we are going to see the games of Gary Kasparov. Actually, I wanted to show you about Kasparov's games because he is regarded one of the greatest players in the chess history. And true to his saying, he has been the world champion for many years, beating Karpov and other great players. And I would be showing here his masterpieces. I think there'll be nearly. Just wait, I'll be showing you. Uh, say earlier. There'll be nearly 20 games. I'll be showing you nearly 20 games. I think each and every game would be true masterpieces for all level of players. And move goes like d4 and knight f6, c4, e6, and knight f3. This is the anti. The choice of nf3 instead of nc3 indicates that the white wants to avoid the Nimzo-Indian defense. And then now b6. b6 actually placing the bishop on b7. This leads to queen's Indian defense. So after a3, uh, actually this a3 move was the was Kasparov's move, and actually this variation is named after him. So to stop bishop b4 check, and after c5, black plays c5 here, and this leads to a sharper play than more common move than the bishop b7. The bishop also can be used to put on a6 here. Then d5. Actually, white does puts his pawn on d5 to block the long diagonal, so that the b7 bishop would not able to control the diagonal. This is the Benoni formation. And then after this, black goes for bishop a6 here. Bishop a6, and many players feel that on a6 bishops is very useful at a6 because white's pawn on c4 is a little weak, and it's a good target. And after queen c2, this queen supports both c4 and e4. And now after ed5 and cd5, and now cd5, d6. Actually here, if knight takes d5, then queen e4 check. This is an instant win for the queen. If at all the knight retreats to e7, the rook on e8 is will be gone. So this is not a good position. Actually, the d5 pawn shouldn't be taken. After d after this, black plays d6 and knight c3 and knight bd7 by black. Actually, black should have developed his kingside pieces instead of developing his knight. And normally it would have been normal to put g6 here. And after bishop f4, bishop e7, then g3, uh, and after g3, castle shot, bishop g2, rook e8, castle shot, and remember guys, the white player is Kasparov and the black is Brownie. uh, and then after castles, the last few moves, these moves don't need an explanation. The both sides have attended to normal opening goals. uh, but one thing is the white has a advantage in space, and also is a bit better in the center for now. Now knight h5. Actually here bishop f8 would have been more logical. The bishop gets out of the way of the rook, uh, and the role of the bishop would have been purely defensive in this opening formation, protecting d6 and g7. If the pawn was at g6, the bishop tucked behind it at g7, which is usually placed, uh, then the bishop would have been also an as offensive piece. So the bishop should have been put at b7, after g6. I'm sorry, in g7 after g6, and bishop. Now Kasparov brings his bishop to d2. Uh, so then after that, the knight goes to f6, and Brownie actually concedes his mistake and returns the knight to f6. But he has wasted his precious time. Uh, and then after rook fe1, bishop f8, a4. Kasparov's plan was beginning to take shape. He would move the knight to b5 now, and then shift the bishop to c3 and launch a central pawn storm with e4, followed by f4. Once the knight gets off f3, then there will be a breakthrough at e5. This could be a major problem for black. Then now knight g4. After a4, Brownie puts knight g4. Actually, this is an unwanted journey by the knight, uh, because there is no support for any action in the king side. After now knight b5, bishop b7, e4, and a6, and knight a3. Kasparov brings his knight to a3. Now rook b8, now h3, and knight g again goes to f6. If at all black would have moved knight g e5, then Kasparov would put knight h2 and follow with f4 to attack the and a strong attack. There will be a strong attack in the center. So the knight went again to f6, and now bishop c3, queen c7, and knight d2, bishop c8, and bishop f1. Black wants to create some counterplay with b5 push. So Kasparov puts an end to that plan before launching his own attack. Now g5. Black in an unpleasant position. He tries to stir things up, and so this move g5. G5 is not a good move here in this position. After then Now Kasparov puts again knight f3. Now h6 and knight c4. Uh, See now then actually this knight is in a very good position. After knight c4, the key squares b6, d6 and e5 are all under control by white, and now black pushes b5. So this was the only plan which black had, and then after ab5, I think the rook dominates the open file, and now Kasparov puts e5. Now knight takes d5. Uh, Now knight takes d5, and because if instead black captures on c4, then there would have been c4. Then here Kasparov would capture on f6, and if at all d takes e5, then knight c takes e5. This is very good for white, because if knight takes d5, then knight takes f7, king takes f7, and queen h7 check, and after bishop g7, queen takes g7 would be coming, and that's a mate. So after b5, knight takes d5, and bishop takes d, and now after knight takes d5, then there is knight takes d6, and after bishop takes d6 and e takes d6, queen d8, queen takes, because the rook is hanging, so queen d8, and now knight e5, and knight b4, and after now the queen is attacked. Now queen d2, and knight takes e5, and rook takes e5, bishop takes e5. Actually the pieces have been exchanged. The material is technically equal, but the white's bishop pair combined with the strong passed pawn and a useful a file, and all this means black is in trouble, and also the black's king position is compromised. And after knight c6, queen e3, knight takes e5, queen takes e5. Black has eliminated the bishop pair, but the queen dominates the board, and the rook will be coming to the 7th rank and join the attack. Now c4, bishop g2, bishop e6, and rook a7, b4, bishop e4. Kasparov cleverly sets up the final blow. Now c3. Black's king has 4 defenders, but the advanced pawn at g5 and h6 really don't do anything. The f-pawn and the bishop at e6 are all that stand between Kasparov and the victory. So now how can he get them out? Now Kasparov goes bishop h7 check. Actually this is a decoy move, and there will be a pin on the f-pawn. Uh, if now after king takes h7, there will be queen takes e6. uh, Queen takes e6, and now the white pawn is 22 squares away from the promotion. And if now queen f8, then rook takes f7 check, queen takes f7, then queen takes f7 check, king h8, and then now d7 comes, and I think it's game over now. So Brownie resigned at this moment. Okay guys, I think you would have enjoyed the game, and I'll be meeting you in the next game, next another game of Kasparov. Okay guys, thank you.